Welcome to Selling in the Motor Trade, in association with Automotive Management and Simco Training. This is the weekly podcast where we share best practice, tips, and ideas on how to sell more cars, improve your service department, and generally put more profit into your dealership or dealer group. I'm your host, Simon Bowkett, or some of you might already know me as Skippy. And firstly, I want to say thank you for taking the time to tune in. Hi, and welcome to another episode of Selling in the Motor Trade. I'm going to start off with a question today. What do you think is the most asked question at Disneyland, Florida? Oh, sorry, is that Disney World, Florida? I never know. The one in Florida, one's Disney World, one is Disneyland. Yeah, if you're guessing where are the toilets, you would be right. That's number one question at Disneyland. Number two question at Disney, I've got to check this out. I'm going to say Disneyland from now on, but it might be Disney World, okay? Number two question is, where's Mickey? You can understand that. All the kids want to know is, where's Mickey Mouse? Mickey Mouse is the star of Disneyland, okay? What's the third asked question at Disneyland, Florida? It's actually, what time does the 3 o'clock parade start? You heard that right. I'm not joking. The third most asked question at Disneyland, Florida is, what time does the 3 o'clock parade start? Now, when I heard that, I thought, nah, that's got to be a joke. But it's not. How would you answer that question? Is it a silly question? I can be honest. I'd probably turn around and say, I think the answer's in the question. Maybe 3 o'clock is the time the 3 o'clock parade starts. But actually, the customer of Disneyland might feel a bit silly, a bit stupid. So Disneyland, they train their staff as to think, what's the meaning behind the question? Have you ever been asked a question from your customer and think, hold on, is that a silly question? Yeah, of course we all have. But what's the reason they're asking that question? So firstly, they don't use any humor because people might feel silly when they do it, okay? They don't just turn around and say, well, they'll be starting at 3 o'clock. This is how they train the staff at Disneyland to answer that question. Hey, listen, what time does the 3 o'clock parade start? Hey, listen, that's a really good question. The 3 o'clock parade starts at 3 o'clock, right at the start of Main Street. Now, right where you are now, it's going to get to you at about 3:20, 3:25, okay? But I tell you where I really like to see the 3 o'clock parade. If you go and stand on the other side of Main Street, firstly, in the hot Florida sun in the afternoon, okay, you have a little bit of shade there. You're not far from the toilets if the kids are looking for the toilets while they're waiting for the 3 o'clock parade to start. But the reason why I like to watch the 3 o'clock parade right there is every time the floats are coming down and you want to take a photograph of them, you've got the photograph framed with the castle in the background. Have a nice day. Now, isn't that a nicer way to answer it? Because it's not what time does the 3 o'clock parade start. People want to really know, where do I get the best view of the 3 o'clock parade? When someone asks, what's the range of that EV vehicle? They just don't want to know that it's 300, 400, 500 kilometers or miles. They want to know, can it get them to see their grandmother and back without having to stop at the motorway services and charge it? What's the reason why they're asking that question? See, Disney does so many things to wow the customer there, okay? Let me tell you some of the other things that Disney do. Oh, and I was very fortunate to go through some Disney training. If you ever get the chance to do it, please go ahead and do it. Now, we know that Walt Disney, okay, you've heard the story about what he's done with the movies and the amount of times he went bankrupt before he actually started with him and his brother, and the detail that he put into all of his movies. And some people say he was a bit of a tyrant the way he would get things done there. But let me tell you a little bit of how they're training the people at the theme parks. And actually, how much do people spend at the theme parks over the years? It's a colossal amount. It was over 10,000, I think, that one person ends up spending with Disney. Now, not just Disney in the theme parks, when they have a look at all the Disney merchandise and everything over their lifetime. They want people to come back again and again and again. And they do that by providing a bit of Disney magic. So there's so many little things like whenever you see the characters, they're always on stage. You may have heard that there's a whole lot of tunnels underneath Disneyland in Florida. Well, actually, Disneyland Florida, if there's lots of tunnels, it would be flooded out. When you walk down Main Street, you're actually walking on the second story of a huge building. The whole underneath that area is actually where the staff get ready and they're on show. But here's little things I heard from the trainer there. Let's take a bit of Disney magic. You turn up to park your car, okay, at Disneyland. There's something like 27,000 car parking spaces there, okay? I don't know if that's the exact number, but you get the picture. It's a lot, okay? When you park in, we don't remember a number like D3 or C3 or PO because people get confused with all that sort of stuff there with numbers and letters. So all you got to remember is Mickey Mouse or Donald Duck. That's where you've parked. So you're there with your family. You go through the theme park. You're having a great day. You get to 3 o'clock in the afternoon and say, you know what? We're a bit tired now. Why don't we go back to the hotel? Take the kids there. Let them have a bit of a sleep, okay? And then we'll come back this afternoon for the firework display at night. And your wife says, great idea. So you go back to find the car and you can't remember. Was it C3? Was it PO? No, it was R2. No, that's D2. You can't remember any of that. You can't remember Donald Duck. What do? You got 3 different choices. Choice number 1, you wait till 20,000 vehicles are gone and yours is the last one there. Might take a while. Option 2, you walk around 20,000 cars, which all are Hertz or Avis rental cars, or half of them are, with your little remote control clicking until it bleeps. Or you go up to someone that says, hey, can you help me? My wife can't remember where she parked the car. They say, sure, jump on the golf court. We'll take you right to it. And they drive you right to the row where you parked. You jump out of the car and they say, have a nice day. See you next time. Think, how have they done that? Now, like lots of magic, when you realize it's quite simple. You see, whenever people are coming into the car park, they have a map of when people are coming in. And they mark down in 5-minute intervals where everyone has parked. So when they're driving you and your family in the golf cart, they say, hey, what time did you get here this morning? If you can remember roughly what time you got there, they can take you into about, I think it was about 50 or 100 cars where it's going to be. It's such a small area. And people left there thinking, wow, that's great. It's the little things that wow people. Or another one, okay? Apparently, this never happened to us, but I've heard other people say that you've got a bag or something like that that you put in the cloakroom. They have a team of people looking for a strap that's come off or a button that's missing or something like that. And they fix it with a little tag, a bit of Disney magic. They go, oh, wow, that was nice. Have a listen to this one, okay? And I love this one, okay? Let's imagine you've got 2 kids. You got 5-year-old Johnny, okay? And Johnny's got an older brother or sister. You're waiting for an hour in the Tower of Terror ride. Okay, now this is the ride, if you've been there before, where you go up something like 13 floors, the lift doors open, and you dropped repeatedly up and down until you're screaming your head off there. You get right to the front of the queue. And Disney does queues like no one else in the world. They entertain you in the queue. But you get to the front, and Disney says, I'm sorry. Johnny isn't 1.2 meters. Johnny can't go on the ride. Because you see, the downside is if Johnny goes on the ride and he falls out, that's probably going to be pretty bad PR for Disney. Okay, now, right at the beginning of the queue, right along, they're told 5 or 6 different times you've got to be 1.2 meters. Because they know they don't want Johnny to get to the front of the queue and be disappointed. because they know that Johnny's not going to blame mum and dad. They're going to blame, or Johnny's going to blame in his mind, Disney for the rest of his life. So dad's saying, stand tall, son, on your tippy nose. And he just can't get under, he does go underneath the height gauge. They say, sorry, Johnny, you can't go on. Johnny's mum says, don't worry, I'll take one for the team. Okay, I'm not going to go on the Tower of Terror. So dad and the older sibling goes on the ride. But you see, Disney now have a problem. Johnny's going to remember his experience with Disney for the rest of his life. His brother or sister's going to wind him up saying, oh, you couldn't go on, you're too small. So what do? They turn around and say, hey, Johnny, do you want to come and man the ride with us? Yeah. They go up to Johnny, okay, and they turn around and put him on the Tower of Terror little uniform. He's a Disney employee just for that short period of time. When Johnny's brother and father come off the ride, he's the one that opens it to let them out. But then they turn around and say, hey, there you go, Johnny. There's a certificate that you were a Disney employee on the Tower of Terror ride. Oh, if you turn it over the other way, you'll notice if you tear it open along the dotted lines, there's a bit of a height gauge. Go and put that on the back of your bedroom wall at home. And as soon as you're over 1.2 meters, Johnny, you get to come right to the front of the queue. Have a great day. Now, guys, you know exactly what's going to happen. Johnny's going to take that home. It's going to be on his bedroom wall. And every day he's going to be measuring himself. The instant, the absolute minute he's over 1.2, what's Johnny going to say? Mum, Dad, we're going back to Disney. We got to go to Disney. Please, Mum, Dad. You see how they've turned a possible negative situation into something that's quite wow. Okay. And they look for things how to wow people. Now, I hear all these stories. I think, yeah, does that really happen? Okay. When we went there first time with my boys, they must have been, I'm guessing now, it would have been 6 and 3, something like that. Okay. And they had a little badge on them. Okay. My first trip to Disney. So, okay, that's a nice little touch. Okay. But actually, the Disney employees are told to look out for that and try and make it special. Okay. In fact, I'm going to tell you, James must have been older this when we went there, because he had my first trip to Disney badge on, and we were waiting for the Aerosmith roller coaster ride. Okay. James wanted to go on a roller coaster. He'd been on the Magic Mountain. Okay, but it's the Aerosmith. This was the first real roller coaster, and on his height, I think it's one of the ones he could just get to. So anyway, again, my wife Emma and Sean. Okay, and having thinking he must have been older than 6, but anyway, they're waiting for us. We're waiting in the queue to get on this ride. And a Disney employee comes up to me and said, hey, how are you? First trip to Disney. You looking forward to it? And James said, yes. He said, hey, here you go. Here's a couple of fast pass tickets, so you go right to the front of the ride. He then turned around and said to me, he said, hey, you know, it's the first time they're here. We like to go on the ride as soon as we can. Because the longer they're sitting there waiting, sometimes that's where the fear kicks in. As soon as he's on it, he's going to love it. He'll probably be addicted to roller coasters for the rest of his life. Guys, he was, and he is, okay? He's just completed his aerobatic rating. I think that's Disney. Cost me a fortune there. But actually, they go out of their way to look for this stuff. And when I went through the Disney training, okay, the trainer there, he was a funny guy. He turned around and said, they look for this stuff. Here's something else they do, okay? Simple things. They have a dine with the characters if you stay at one of the hotels. And you stay at one of the hotels and they've got the princess and all the different characters. Now, the princess is the only one that can talk, because Buzz Lightyear and the Mickey Mouse, they don't talk. So they have breakfast and they'll turn around and say, hi, Sean. Hi, Jenny. How are you there? Okay. But then, and I'm not entirely sure the magic how they do this, but later on, okay, they're actually, the rides are going down on this parade, and they'll turn around when they're on the ride. That princess will turn around and look for Johnny or Mary and say, hi, Johnny, good to see you. Hi, Mary. I don't know. if they take a photograph of that code. I don't know if they have spotters in the crowd looking for where they are, but they make it magical and special for them. I got to tell you, this guy, Disney does lots of corporate training because people want to know how they achieve to wow people. And the trainer was saying he was waiting for one of the clients to meet him at Florida. And there was someone at one of the train stations. When I say train stations, I'm guessing he's talking about the monorail there. And he said, I was pretty certain this wasn't the client I was waiting with because he had a goofy hat on. Okay, he had Bermuda socks, I think they're up to their knees, and the sandals on. Okay, and he had a Happy Birthday Joe badge on. It reminded me of the badge that they gave my boys. Okay, and he turned around and said, Happy Birthday Joe. And this guy turned around and said, oh, you people. Everywhere I go, Happy Birthday Joe. Happy birthday, get lunch, get this. Happy birthday, you people. Tell you a little secret. It was my birthday yesterday, and I wore it again today. How much did he actually like being acknowledged? And again, there's so many things. The first time we went to Disney, we went to one of the restaurants, getting restaurants. And by the way, if you're American, listen to this. I love Disney, but you know what? The restaurants, probably not the best. I've got to say, it's probably not many Michelin stars handed out in the world of a Disney theme park, which I get. And you're not going to there for that type of food. But we found one restaurant there, and we hadn't booked, Cardinals then. So I went up there with my family and said, oh, can we have a table for 4? So I said, have you booked? No. She said, you really need to book here. I'm really sorry about that. I went, okay, thank you anyway. And I'm sitting there thinking, okay, we'll book again next couple of days. She said, hold on. She calls me back. She says, hold on for a second. I found something for you. And she takes us in and gives us a table for 4. Now, 2 things with that a little bit. Number 1, next time we made sure we booked when we wanted to get a restaurant at Disney or any other theme park there. And number 2, I thought, wow, that sounds good. Now, maybe she was just doing it for a tip. I don't know if she was told to say that. I'm really, really not sure, okay? But I tell you what, I looked around. I'm thinking, this place is booked out. There's not that many tables booked here. We'd been there nice and early there. Maybe it's something they just did. I don't know. But you know what? If you listen to these podcasts, I urge you to go and listen to a guy called Kevin Brown. And Kevin Brown will tell you about his son, Josh Brown. And he'll tell a great story. I'm not going to take his thunder away from this. But he talks about how his son was wowed at Disney. He talks about a story about how the Disney employee went and found a particular type of product for breakfast that his son wanted. How this guy was his son, okay? Actually, the waitress actually spoke to him, not the mother and the father, and made him feel special, okay? So guys, this is all about Disney. Think about how we can wow your customers in the motor trade, okay? And you can't just buy good customer satisfaction. It's the unexpected that tends to wow people. And think about the questions. I started this rant off about what time does the 3 o'clock parade start? Okay, so many times you get that question from a customer. You think, what are they really asking after the question? Guys, if you don't like Disney, it's not for everyone, but I've got to tell you, the way I was treated with, I'm a fan. I've gone back, okay? And you know what? We're going back again. We've got something planned soon as well. So just think about it. And if you've not been there, okay, they go out of the way. So I urge you to do a couple of things. Kevin Brown, go and find his podcast, okay? If you ever have the ability to listen to him, I won't steal his thunder about what they've done. But they go out of their way to wowing people. And that's what we need our people to do in the motor trade. Anyway, that about does it for now. Let's speak to you again. That just leaves me to say that all details of this episode and other episodes on the selling in the motor trade can be found on our website, simcotraining.co.uk. Go there to get a copy of our book, Words That Sell Cars. Go there to sign up to a free trial of our Sales Fitness online sales training program. Easiest way to get hold of me is Simon Bowkett through LinkedIn.